All right, so this has gone from my least favorite segment for petty reasons to my favorite segment for petty reasons. As you can see, Jon doesn't even want to participate. This is the Mage Rage Derby contest update, sponsored, as always, by our friends at Airdrie Stud and Mage. Mage's first foals arrived earlier this year. We saw Jon has one of those, and as adorable as could be, looks a lot like Dad. And we're going to be excited to see those horses sell as weanlings later on this year. And then next year is yearlings. Mage obviously was the 149th Kentucky Derby winner, was one of those horses who did not have a ton of seasoning and still won the Kentucky Derby and had a monster 3-year-old season just based on raw talent. And the talent is not surprising, being by Good Magic, one of the early superstar stallions of this decade, out of the Blue Hen mare Puka, who's just been a rock star with her foals so far. They just keep getting better and better. You know about Dornoch, you know about Baeza. So this is the kind of family that's only going to grow in value and prestige and importance. And Mage stands right now for 2025 for $25,000, and I think that fee is only going to go up. The buzz is going to build, I'm telling you. So shout out to Mage, shout out to the Airdrie Stud, and just keep that in mind. You know, when Derby fever hits, you got a horse who only had a couple starts under his belt, but was talented enough to win the most prestigious race in America, and he obviously backed it up throughout the rest of the year, and it's going to be a super, super stallion prospect. Let's get to the standings. Jon, cover your eyes. Shout out to Sam.
Sam
making
huge
a
weekend.
huge charge to poke her nose in front of Jon. As we throw the standings up, Sam is up to 26.75 because she had Tapan Street win over the weekend in the Florida Derby, and we're going to talk a little bit about that race. Jon is 0.05.
Yeah, like barely. Yeah. It's almost a dead heat, for God's sake.
But it isn't. You're in second. And not to be outdone, your boy Joe is out of last. Thank you, Sandman. I put all my eggs in the Sandman basket. And, you know, that should have led the show, but I was being humble about it. It gives me 10 points for winning the Arkansas Derby, and Cornucopian got me 1.5 points for running fourth. And, you know, honestly, I think ran better than that just in terms of circumstance. Michelle is in fourth with 12.9, and Dan managed to pick up a narrow 1.5 to be at 5.775. So Dan is bringing up the rear. This is very, very similar to Skip's initial morning line that he put out when we drafted the teams.
That's true.
Skip was pretty spot on. So maybe, you know, might moonlight after the sheep farming, become a morning line maker, Skip. I think you could do it, buddy. But just a quick rundown. So Tapan Street got 10 points for Sam. Jon, not to be outdone, got 5 points for Sovereignty and 1.5 for Matticat Road. So nice job there, running second and third. Disruptor got Dan the 1 point. In the Arkansas Derby, Sandman, obviously 10 for me. Speed King, no, not Speed King. Coal Battle, 2.5 for Jon, and then Cornucopian 1.5 for me. So we have one last major round of preps. Then we get the Lexington, and then it's Derby time. So it's really anybody's ball game, especially now that Sam has reeled in Jon. Let's go. Any comments, Jon, or you want to just keep it moving?
Is it for the record? Is it Tapan Street, like Japan?
I think it's
or
Tapan Street.
Tappan Street.
I think it's Tapan. That's what I heard Pete Aiello say.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna keep putting my head down and ignoring what the track announcer says, and call it Tappan Street.
All right, that's all. Anyway, that's all he's got.
Anyway, yeah, that was it. I'm not going to talk even about the points. They points to mean nothing.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Now they're meaningless because Jon doesn't have the most anymore. But I 94 buyer for Tapan Street. He's obviously a nice horse. Sovereignty, I thought, was like mildly disappointing in that race.
Yeah.
The fast pace, I think, tells you that the third horse, Neo Equos, ran really well. And I don't think he's going to get 1.25 miles, but the speed is going to be dangerous, maybe in the Preakness or one of those shorter races down the line. The top two look like the stayers, but I don't know. And I know we're biased, but I just thought visually the Sandman race was more impressive just because how spaced out the field was and just like the kind of the long stride that he has.